Hey guys, welcome to another fun and exciting iMight GT7 stream. Thank God we're back to Nations. I struggled in manufacturers. This is the first round of Nations at Fuji. Group 4 cars. The Lamborghini was the OP car of choice. I tried it out and was happy with it, but I found for me, the Nissan GTR was quicker for me. Hard tyres only, 1 times fuel, 1 times tyre wear with a mandatory pit stop. So pit stopping whenever you want, but do not need to change tyres. So I'll be pitting and just pulling out without changing tyres. Starting from the back, I just found I just was making really good ground here. I don't know what happened, maybe I just broke a touch late, but oh yeah, a bit messy. But I did make some great ground there. I felt bad. That's P10. Bang, oops, there's a car beside me. So, I'll be pitting on lap 1. And I guess really, trying to do it cleanly, I was thinking, you know, starting from the back, and then pitting, there'll be a huge deficit. So if I can try my hardest to get up near the front if I can, and then pit. So a pit stop is about 22 seconds, so the plan is if I can try and stay near the front, and I'm about 4.5 seconds behind the leader. If I could pit with that gap, I'd be 26, 27 seconds behind the leader. But I get pushed here, oh, and pushed again. So funny enough, I find myself at the back. I was making ground and then I've just lost it, but fair enough. I don't know if that was retaliation for turn 1, but don't think so. I think it was just another case of a whole group of cars together colliding. So yeah, I did a few lobby races during the week. This is another race where I feel like I could have over prepared, where I'm so prepared it just goes wrong on the day. And you know, worked out if I can just keep clear of traffic and pit early and then just put in some qualifying lap times, I possibly could catch up to P1. So Razor Eagle, I reckon he changes tyres, because I've just pulled in behind him. And you'll see I don't change tyres. And yet, when we pull out the pits, I'm well ahead of him. So, I think if tyre change was intentional, you'd do it in the middle of the race, lap 9 for example. Lap 1 is pointless. So he's what, 2.5? 2 seconds? 2.5 behind me. So yeah, I think he's changed tyres there, which is about a 4 second, takes 4 seconds to change tyres. So here we go, yeah, a bit messy lap 1, but I'm still sticking to my plan of pitting lap 1, and now I can see how far away I am from the leader, which I was a bit shocked, 32 seconds. So I need to catch up by 10 seconds if I wanted to win. There's a few famous names in here. Valus Core, of course, is in P1. D-Mock, I know, he's a good driver. Razor Eagle, I kind of know, he's not really a friend, but I race with him enough. And then there's Walkinshaw, Tom R. Walkinshaw, who I know quite well. So there's a bit of writing going up on the screen. Looks like people are colliding and battling, which is good, and that's why I pitted lap 1. I don't want to be getting held up by people. Of course, staying in the pack, you've got slipstream. That's something I've lost, but now I've got a clear track to myself, and luckily Razor Eagle is nice and clear of me. I didn't want someone on my backside slowing us both down. The ideal situation would be you'd be right behind me bump drafting, and we'd be both just pushing each other further and further ahead, closing up that gap. So between me and Velascore is now 33, back to 32, so I'm almost on pace with him. But he is actually, if you have a look at the top right mud map, he's actually broken away from everyone. So he's in the same boat as me, no slipstream, but he's also got no one around him slowing him up. But it's the rest of the pack at least that are pretty tight. They're going to be tripping over each other. So here's the thing, Velascore, Zeb, I rev to 11,000k in positions 1, 2 and 3. They can see the gap between themselves, person in front of them and behind. They don't know how far behind I am, but I have that information, which is 32 seconds. So if they're in front, they might begin to, you know, back off, take it a bit easy, slow down, not realizing that people that have already pitted are catching up and are gonna do the undercut of the century, basically. So there's another message from I rev to 11,000k. So it was a bit of argy-bargy between Angus and Matt Whitaker, I think his name is. So I think Angus paid the price there. So here we go. It was a bit early. I thought, oh, these people pitting a bit early. I haven't had enough time to try and catch up. But if they've been held up, I should be able to get past them. Because remember, I pitted in P16. So they have been held up, and I've benefited from that. So this is the plan. Get clear of other people, because slipstream is good, but battling against other people is going to slow you up. And it really shows how much of a tight race this is. It's down to the hundredths of a second. I must admit, at the end of the race, I wasn't really impressed with my lap times. During the week, I had a really good time trial time. I felt like I was up in the A level. And of course, in a lobby or in this race, your time does slow down a bit. But I was hitting the 48s, and I thought I'd be hitting the high 47s, maybe mid 47s, but no. So something was not right. Luckily, before the race, I looked at my ABS, and it was on default, and it should have been on weak. But again, at the moment, it's a boring race. I get it. It's a boring race. It's just me. But this was the plan of get clear of people. So you can see the top right, the map up there. That pack of cars is slowly spreading out. So the cars in front of me, immediately in front of me, like Rorschach, are slowly being held up, and I'm 11 seconds behind now. When Rorschach decides to pit, they're going to take 22 seconds minimum if they don't change tyres. I'm easily going to beat them. So I was trying to work it out, and so I'm 33 seconds behind Velascore. And when he pits, he'll take 22 seconds, so he'll be 11 seconds. So I was looking at the gap between the leader, Velascore, in the top right hand corner map, and looking at, like, where do I think 11 seconds is, and it's probably, let's say at the moment, maybe P6, because Valis is holding a good pace, but everyone else is slowly dropping back. And yeah, I'd be recommending for people to get out of that and pit and get a clear bit of track. So it was a good sign that I had two people that I undercut and got past. And I've just said, like, Angus and Rorschach, I'm sure when they pit, I'll be able to get past. But how many of them will I be able to undercut? And I guess when I say undercut, I don't mean, like, normally it's if you change tyres, you're on fresh tyres, there's the undercut. There is no changing tyres, so that shouldn't matter, but the act of surprise, hopefully I'm catching and catching. So drop shot, he's had an issue and then he's decided, well, he'll pit now. So I'm moving up slowly. Now if you look back 2 or 3 streams, I was saying about against the Asian region, they're just too good, they're too fast, and really it's because they're too clean, too organised. That pack of cars in front of me, if they were bump drafting each other, they'd just be pulling away, but they're not, they're fighting. So Angus is 12 seconds. So I've dropped marginally from Velasquez. He was 32 when I came out of the pits, and he's 33.8. But you can see the gap between the leader, Velasquez, and the guy in P2, Zeb. There's quite a gap there, and I'm going to guess that is maybe about a 5-second gap, which is good. And then maybe P3, maybe P4 is in there, crossing the finish line. So it's the rest of them. So what's that? That's 8 other cars that I'm within their pit window of 22 seconds. So just finishing lap 6. Okay, so I did do a minute 47.9. And during the week I'd be doing the time trial and just nailing it, you know, and just trying to improve. But when you don't have a split time above your rev bar to tell you if you're going faster or slower, I've got no one around me, it's hard to get a reference. So I knew I just had to, every lap, just push as hard as I can. And there could be a slight danger that I'm over pushing, but I don't think so. I'm not really going off track, I'm not going stupidly slow. So Angus is now 11.1 seconds behind, in front of me, and I'm catching, so there could be more battling going on right in front of me. And luckily, Razor Eagle 2.9 seconds behind, so there's a healthy gap behind me, and that was the other concern. I think at the end of the day, the Nissan isn't the fastest. People might be able to be 0.2 of a second faster than me, and if I make slight mistakes, they're slowly catching. So he's now 3.1 seconds behind me. So there were moments, and now 2.9. So there were moments it would the gap would get bigger, and then the gap would get smaller. So I tried not to worry too much, as long as it wasn't heading in, getting smaller consistently. Then I'd start getting nervous. So now it's 3.2. So I'm still in the 48s. Yeah, it wasn't really, I thought something's not right. Surely I can do better. Better as in not faster, but cleaner. Just try and get all the gears right, the corners right, the braking right. And this is the advantage of being out there on my own, is I've got all the track to myself. So now Vallis is 35 seconds in front, but he's breaking away from everyone. So considering I was pretty much the first to pit with Razor Eagle, everyone in front of me is yet to pit. And I was just glad that the split time behind me was sitting stable. Kind of told me that I don't have to worry about people behind me. I've just got to pump out each lap and just wait for people to start pitting. Took a gamble with this that it wouldn't rain. The track looks a bit wet. It's an early morning setup, and it's I think it's warm and cloudy, so it's almost like tropical conditions. It's a bit wet, but it's warm. But I took a gamble that this race there would be no rain, because I thought, well, if it's going to rain and you need to put intermediates or wets on, if I've already pitted, that means I've got to pit twice. That's not good. I took a gamble because I've put my money on rain in the past and it hasn't happened. And if I get it wrong, it's race one of the day. I can always go again and learn from it. So Velascore, the leader, I'm back to 34. It's Demok, who I think I'm friends with him. He's just left the race. So down to 15 drivers. Like I said, guys, the let's say positions 1, 2 and 3, they know the split times around the 3 of them, but they don't know what other people are doing. And I'm sure because I was right at the back, they wouldn't have known if I had pitted. They wouldn't have seen that. They would only see the top 8. So Zeb, who was in P2, he's now just pitting. So this is a good test. So P2, so like I said, if Velascore was to pit, he'd come out 12 seconds in front of me. Is someone else, Violent Aussie. And then around here, I'd be looking down at the radar, at the road, to see if I can see any blue arrows, you know, of a car coming out on the track. So Zeb, who was in P2, has just come out in front of me by 4 seconds. So I would have been 26 seconds behind him, and he's come out 4 seconds in front. So that gap's getting smaller at the moment, probably because my tyres are slightly warmer. 3.5 is coming down. So the leader, Velascore, so he's what, 34 seconds? So he should come out about 12 seconds in front. Ah, this is it. So Zeb must have made a mistake on the pit entry or exit, and he got himself a 3-second penalty. So that was an easy pass for me. And I missed that. I think someone else pitted. So Velascore is what, 9 seconds. And so I'm going to guess he changed tyres. And that was the other thing. I think when I saw people pitting around lap 9 in the middle of the race, I thought those people are changing tyres. You'd either pit near the beginning to get out of the chaos, or you'd pit near the end. So yeah, I thought it'd be, what did I say? 12 seconds. Velascore, that is. But he was only 9. Yeah, so I get the feeling he changed tyres. So Zeb, he's slowly catching me. And I must admit, at this point, I just want this race to kind of finish. Not feeling comfortable with people up close to me. I think once I get my slipstream, I'm toast. Your corners like that are, I don't know if I'm slightly distracted, but it just seems a little bit slow and laboured. I think it's also because I'm now focusing on Zeb behind me. I'm watching that split time. And occasionally I'll watch it go up and then it's coming down, but generally speaking it is coming down. So Angus pitted, finally, up to what, P8? So if Velas is the front runner, in theory, at the moment I'm in P2. Because apart from Velas, I think everyone in front of me is yet to pit. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's happening there, but I feel like I'm just going a bit slow. And I wonder whether or not it's, I start to think he will catch me, he will pass me, so don't overfight it. So I begin to sort of nurse the tyres a bit, you know, don't push too hard for what? I'm going to kill my tyres to try and stay in front of someone who I know will catch me. This just feels a bit slow. I mean, so Zeb is 1.4 behind me. I'm still holding it, but we've got what, another 5 laps to go. And I can only imagine, apart from Velascore, who's already pitted, I'm imagining most others will pit on lap 16. Drop shot just left, so 14 remaining. Yeah, so during the week, at the very beginning of the week, I ran every car down the start-finish straight and then took a photograph at the end to see which ones had the top end speed, because Fuji's start-finish straight is pretty horrendous for slipstream and people overtaking. So tested every car, and eventually I brought it down to 5 cars, and then eventually down to 3, and it was the Hurricane, the Bugatti and Nissan GTR. And then I tested those 3 cars, and I found the GTR for me over 17 laps in a custom race was quicker by a few seconds and a little bit more comfortable for me to drive. So that's how it came about using the GTR. I've got this app where I can see tyre temperatures, and I found the Lamborghini's front left would get pretty hot and wear, but it's the back right tyre that would stay cold, and the back end would get a bit slippery. But luckily with Group 4, I'm not using any traction control at all. But for the Nissan, I found using the active stability management and counter steer was my fastest time. So yeah, you can see here Zebby's just inching forward, and I'm 7 seconds away from big fish. And so I rev to 11,000k is 25.4 seconds in front. So I'm still not within his pit window. You can see now Zeb is really on my tail now. So it's around here. This is where I begin to think, where can I let this guy pass me? Don't really want to be doing it on a corner where there could be some level of confusion. I want it to be done on a straight. And he's been on my backside enough for me to want it to happen. If I was to break away by 0.2 of a second on the straight, and I can get down the straight without him passing, I don't know if I want it, because then he's on my tail again. And you watch around here, it's like, you know, I had to rely on him not to pit maneuver me. So my cornering isn't the best. I'm focusing on him now. It's slowing me down. I'm slowing him down. So you'll see down here, I put my indicator on. I'm just watching him in the mirror. I'm keeping the wheel straight and just watching him. I'm watching for that car to get closer and closer. As I see him getting close now, I put my indicator on and say, go around me. And then he's pulling up, so I just lift a bit, let him go. And try and make it as efficient as I can. And to show him that I'm not just going to say, hey, pass me, and then I'll knock you off. And then I thought, well, I'll try and stay in his slipstream, but he's pretty fast, this guy. And if you have a look at the my lap times, I'm doing 48s. He was doing 47s. So he'd be faster than me by, let's say, half a second a lap. So I'm glad his times didn't drop to 48s with me holding him up. So I'm guessing I've missed something there, because Velascore is in P6 and Big Fish was behind him. And I can't see Big Fish now, so I'm assuming that he has pitted. That would have put me up to P7, but now Zeba's got past me. I'm back to P8. Just over 2 laps remaining. And watching the replay, GWN and Matt Whitaker and Angus, they were colliding quite a bit, so they've lost quite a bit of time. So if you look at the top right hand screen, so I rev to 11,000k, I think that's him on his own, and he's what, 25 seconds in front. So I'm assuming that Matt Whitaker would be like maybe 17 seconds in front of me. I'm going to assume that. And this is the kind of stuff I'm looking at, well, looking at during the race. Not every race, but this one in particular I learned off the doing the lobbies during the week with I did one with a bunch of Japanese guys, that was pretty good, and then another group which were Spanish. Yeah, I knew pit lap 1, why, unless you're up the front and breaking away, you would stay out, of course. But if you're not up the front, why stay on track and risk battling with people and getting held up? Because this race is so tight, you can't afford to lose too much time. So it was Zeb almost losing it. I'm trying my hardest to stay in his slipstream, and I must admit, I thought if I can achieve that, I'd be bump drafting him. He's proven he's faster than me. So I am in his slipstream at the moment, but you just see he just slowly pulls away. So yellow flags for some reason. I can't remember why. So Tom Walkinshaw, he's pitting. I totally forgot about him in the race at the moment. So IREV to 11,000k. He has pitted, but he's come back out, and he's in P3 at the moment. Final lap. So I'm thinking, well, that's it. But surely, I kind of knew GWN hasn't pitted, because he's 16 seconds ahead, and there wasn't that kind of gap. If he had pitted, I'd be closer to him. And there's a healthy gap behind me with M. Whitaker with all his battling. Shouldn't have been doing it. Razor Eagle has hung in there. He's done alright. And Tom, he's done well. I think he started 10th. But I'm possibly staying out on track a bit too long with other cars. So I'm pretty close to Zeb here, so I must admit I'm half a second behind. So I was trying to give it my all on this last corner and just go off track a touch. Luckily no penalty. And then, yeah, GWN, he did not pit, and he's trying to pit on the very last lap, so that's him done. He's dropping down the list. I was happy with that. So coming in at P5 and finishing P4. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream, guys. Looking forward to seeing your streams. And yeah, leave a like if you don't mind, and a comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.